would come up, sometimes at random or sometimes when you looked at something, but you never felt really like you missed anything. I mean, there was a few things I missed, but nothing substantial. But in like even the Talos Principle, when I was like reading those, like I read every console, which is a lot of reading. You were reading Nietzsche and the Bible and like Bible quotes and stuff. You're reading a ton. And when I played for like 3 hours straight, I just wanted to solve puzzles. I then got more and more impatient with reading Nietzsche, you know, or reading Aristotle, or reading emails from the company that potentially created you. And I'm like, these are so long. I just want to solve these damn puzzles so I can potentially climb this tower I'm not supposed to climb, you know. So it's just sometimes it just can get, I guess if you played in smaller increments, it might not be as convoluted. So,
Guys, it's time for some news. Wyatt's going to have a new catchphrase for us that he's going to try out right now. Here we go. It's time for some news.
The news section.
Right?
Okay, yeah, no, that was really good.
Your regular sound effects.
That was really good. That was really good. That was really good.
Yeah, they're old.
Maybe we try like one more time, but like just kind of like in conversation. Like, so Buddy and I are talking about Pikmin, and it's like a weird game.
The news section time.
This just in, we're getting news report.
News.
Nicely done. I like that a lot. Yeah,
Hey, it's my thunder. Don't you stay out of it, buddy.
All right.
You have the end of the show. All the yours.
Stay out of his thunder, buddy. All right. So I've got some news. Obviously, there's a couple big items that we need to talk about. It's official. The Super NES Classic has been announced. The Super NES Classic will be $79.99 in the States. $79.99. It does come with 2 controllers, which the NES Classic did not.
Which, if you got 2 controllers in the other one, you're paying the same price.
Here are the games that will be on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic, complete with 2 controllers. Okay. Contra 3, The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, the never-released Star Fox 2.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Hyper Fighting, Super Castlevania, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Yoshi's Island.
Nintendo naming conventions.
So
I heard there was nudity in Star Fox 2.
I will say, we can only hope.
Of what?
I will say, the NES...
Of a fox?
The NES Classic did nothing for me. I couldn't have given a shit less about the NES Classic. There just weren't games that I wanted to play. This is where I started. These games are my first experience with video games, Super Nintendo. So I am excited about this. Now, having said all of that, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to play it. I have too many games that I want to play right now. I'm not going to go back and play these 16-bit games. I just don't care to do that. I don't have that nostalgic bone in my body where I'm actually going to say that I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to beat Star Fox. No fucking way. Maybe I would play the first level of Star Fox. Maybe I would play the first, level of Donkey Kong Country, but that's it. I'm not going to beat the whole game. Who has time to do that? You know what I mean? Am I crazy? Am I shitting on this too hard? Okay, yes. Yes, I'm shitting on this too hard.
No, go ahead.
So when I heard it was coming out, it wasn't really much of a surprise to me. I did not know the price, but I guess if you're getting 2 controllers, it really does kind of make sense. When I saw those, I honestly felt like they left some out. Now, I honestly couldn't really think of some other than Donkey Kong 2 and 3. There's no sports games. You didn't really mention any sports games. There's no mech game that they didn't add in there, which I was surprised about. Mickey Mouse World.
Trying to get on that Disney money? I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah.
Nintendo ain't getting in on that Disney money.
I just was like, wait a minute. I feel like it's missing a lot. I am interested in Star Fox 2, so I bet there's going to be a lot of release reviews of it. And that does kind of surprise me because just so if you guys didn't know, Star Fox 2 was a fully created game back in the 90s or whatever it came out, but it was due to legal issues was shelved. So it just sat there. And so I'm really curious on how that is because I'm a big Star Fox 64 fan, and I like Star Fox 1. I did play that.
Yeah.
Am I going to pay $80 for Star Fox 2? Because essentially that's what I'm doing.
The ROM has already been leaked. Spoiler.
Well, I heard it's pretty different from the final game, though, too.
Yeah.
Well, how do we know until the system comes out?
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. I'm going to wait until I see it. Well, I really did like this. I bought the regular NES Classic for my sister. For Christmas. I opened it up to make sure it worked.
You found a unicorn.
Yeah, right. Well, I bought it on an auction site for $100, so I did pay a little bit extra for it. Boo. And I was like, well, I better make sure it works. So before Christmas, I played it quite a bit, and I actually enjoyed that. And when I see the list of games for the NES and I see the list of games for that, I'm honestly disappointed with that because I got to play Super Mario 3, Dr. Mario. I mean, I'm drawing a blank, but like Techno Bowl. I am excited. Mega Man X is on there. I love that game.
Yeah.
That's a great game. So, in the end, will I play it? I won't get it. I know. I just won't.
If I was gifted this, that'd be awesome. I would definitely plug it in up here in the office and I'd play it a little bit, but yeah, I don't think I'll go out and get it. Now, here's a couple of interesting tidbits. They're already up on eBay in some cases, which is interesting because the pre-orders aren't even live in the US. I did hear that they sold out in the UK of their pre-orders.
Yeah.
But the UK version, by the way, is the one with the colored buttons. Do you remember that? So there was 2 different versions of the NES. I'm showing these guys right now. There was like the classic version that we remember probably in the States with the purple buttons. Mm-hmm. But then there was also the European version that had the colored buttons on the controllers. And I remember I had one of each of these controllers somehow. I had the colored button controller too.
I never had a Super NES.
Anyways, these are on eBay now for $300. Now, is this one of those things that you would consider if you can get that $80 Amazon pre-order, you get it, then you try to resell it? I mean,
you
can make
one
a
of
profit
those people,
there.
though.
I would be. I have no
Part of the
shame.
problem.
I'm too lazy to do
That's
it.
That's where I'm at. I'm lazy enough, and to me, it's not much of like. I'm not gonna. Yeah, $300 is nice for an $80 profit, and I'm not guaranteed $300 after the release in the US.
Yeah.
So when I bought it for $100, but there were people offering it for $400. I was like, dude, there's these other people selling it for $100. Why would I buy it for $400 when you're right next to somebody, on my auction site?
Yeah.
So to me, it was insane. So I'm not risking it, but you could always return it, right?
Yep.
That being said, I hope they make a lot more of these than they did of the NES Classic. Like, it seems like they're only going to make them and sell them through the end of the year, but I don't know.
I think they'll do a better job. I think they learned their mistakes from the last one, and they'll deal with the demand. I think, especially this one was way more successful than the NES.
So it is available in September, and they're saying that they're going to sell it through the end of the year. So that's not that long for a product to be on the shelves. I mean, that's just for the holiday demand.
It's like, why stop though?
I know.
If the demand's high
so
and you're selling it beyond,
so Nintendo.
Why stop?
Okay, so next news story. Can we have like a transition to like the next news story?
Bow 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 bow.
Oh God.
You say like next news story.
Next news story.
Good. All right, that's pretty good. All right. Star Wars Han Solo. 5 weeks of reshoots reportedly already planned before they fired their directors. Did you guys hear about this?
I heard they fired.
They fired Chris Lord and Phil Miller. I might have that backwards. Chris Miller and Phil Lord. Anyways, the 2 directors who did, among other things, the Lego Movie and other stuff. Anyways, apparently the brass at Disney and Star Wars, the top brass, did not approve of sort of the comedic flair that team was bringing to the film. And there were even reports that Alden Ehrenreich, I think his name is, the young actor who is playing young Han Solo, had voiced his concerns over it as well. Lawrence Kasdan, the dude who wrote Empire Strikes Back, he also wrote this movie, is reported to be a stick-to-your-script kind of scriptwriter, and didn't like that the directors were sort of improvising on the set. That rubbed them the wrong way, and then ultimately Kathleen Kennedy over at Lucasfilms fired them. So they got fired, and they had already shot all the principal photography, I believe. No, at least a lot of principal photography. But nobody's happy with the footage that they've gotten, and it seems like this movie's going to get delayed. And they just brought on Ron Howard to direct.
I hope he narrates it.
I know. Ron Howard of Arrested Development fame.
Han Solo's like,
Why was I thinking
this.
the porn star?
No.
Oh, that was the first thing that came.
What's his name? Is it Ron Howard?
It's Ron Howard.
No, it's not. It's Jeremy Howard. What is his name? What's the porn star?
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
That's who I was thinking of.
I
would love to see the Han Solo Ron Jeremy version. I'm telling you.
You did the parsec in 12 parsecs. I did it in 39 parsecs.
So they were saying it was too funny.
They were saying it was too funny, which, for Han Solo, doesn't that kind of make sense that it should be a little humorous?
Yeah, all the Star Wars movies are humorous. I mean, even Rogue One, which is probably the most serious of all of them, had even that robot that was silly. BB-8 was silly. So, but it's not a comedy. You know, it's just more of a levity to the serious situation rather than a comedy. I want to say comic relief, because that's, I think, even over the top. This is more of like a levity, like people enjoying themselves, people joking with their personalities.
So Joe Screbbles over at IGN writes, it's not uncommon for a near-finished film to include reshoots, although it does raise the specter of Rogue One, which underwent extensive reshoots after reported disagreements between producers and the directors. Now, Ron Howard is quoted as saying, not to be confused with porn star Ron Jeremy.
Ron Howard sounds like a porn name.
Ron,
kind of.
He was Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. He's the opposite of that.
He sure gave people happy days.
Okay. So, Ron Howard is quoted as saying, I've been a fan forever. It's gratifying to be asked to lend my voice to the Star Wars universe. So many people involved in Star Wars franchise are friends. It's already been in production, and there's a lot of really great work there. What do you make of all this? I mean, is that movie in trouble? Or, I mean, should we be worried that we're not going to get a great Han Solo movie? Buddy, have you seen Star Wars?
Oh my god.
None of them?
Hey, Brogan, did he lie on his application
Jesus
to the podcast?
Christ. You haven't seen one fucking Star Wars?
No.
Oh my god, muted. Muted! Alright. So, we'll let you know when you're timed back in. You're timing out right now. Are you worried, Wyatt, that this is going to be a stinker of a movie, or is this just common? Is there a high standard? You're muted.
Stinker? I'm shouting to somebody else's mic.
All right.
Do I think it's going to be... I guess it depends. If they delay the movie, then no, I'm not worried. Because that means they're going to like, hey, let's take some time to make it right.
Do this right.
If they don't delay it, I am not necessarily thinking it's going to be bad, but that does make me nervous because it's going to be a rush job.
Good point.
Now, I didn't know of all the complications with Rogue One, but how amazing is that movie? And if they put... and if they're like, yeah, we're going through complications, but we still have the budget and backing of Lucasfilms bought by Disney.
Yeah.
You know, like we're gonna be just fine. You know what I mean? We're putting ass money in it, ass loads of money.
That Ron Jeremy ass money. You're muted. Stay away from his
A
mic.
stinker worth ass money.
All right. You're unmuted because this isn't working.
But that's how I feel. So if they delay. Am I in a hurry to get a Han Solo movie? Honestly, out of all the spin-off movies they can make, that one,
Having just gotten closure to Han Solo's story, this does feel like the last thing we need. I mean,
I'd rather have, honestly, a Boba Fett movie more than I'd rather have a Han
or
Solo
another
movie.
Rogue One type movie about characters we don't even know about that are in the Star Wars universe. Republic Commando.
Exactly. It's going to be good. I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it at midnight. I'm going to like it. I promise that. But Han Solo, out of all the Star Wars characters, he's up there, but not anywhere near like a lot of the other characters I admire in the entire saga of Star Wars. So, sure, I'm sure it'll be good. I don't know this actor that's playing him very well. So I don't know. You know, if I would have known him or his history and really, really liked his movies, maybe I'd be into it. But I really do if they need to delay it, I think they should. They shouldn't try to force this thing out like Ron Jeremy would and just try to get it out into the production as fast as possible. Like, really, what is the rush?
Yeah.
What is the rush? We're never going to lose.
They're trying to get us a Star Wars movie every year.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to have the 8th movie coming out soon, right?
This year?
Is it this year?
December?
The 8th movie is going to come out soon. So what's the rush? And then the 9th movie is eventually going to come out with that. Why do we? So it's not like it's either the Han Solo movie or nothing. Mm-hmm. We have them. So just take their time, get it right. Don't ruin Han Solo for everybody, and make some dumb, stupid. And yeah, if it was too comical, I kind of would be a little upset about it. So I'm glad that they actually acknowledge that if that's the case.
Okay, next news story.
Next news story.
That got a lot worse. Okay. All right. So sticking in the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, well, Disney-owned movies, let's talk a little bit about Spider-Man Homecoming, which comes out next week, 2 weeks, July 7th, I think. I think it's coming up next week.
We're going to be at a wedding.
Yeah, we are going to be at a wedding.